Friends from the media, good morning. Welcome to the 11 a.m. press briefing. The Chief Executive will deliver an opening address and then we'll take questions. Because of the epidemic, do observe social distancing measure and wear your masks. The Chief Executive. Fellow citizens, friends from the media, good morning. Well, this is a press briefing on our anti-epidemic efforts, but I'd like to make an announcement here. And myself will not run in the Chief Executive campaign for the 6th term of the government. In other words, I will complete my 5-year term as Chief Executive on the 30th of June this year, and I will also call an end to my 42 years of public service. My intention not to stand was made to the central authorities in early last year, i.e. 2021, with the understanding and respect of the central authorities. Today is not the time to conclude my experience in public service and to tell you my feelings, because the fight against the epidemic is of paramount importance. But I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to the central authorities for the support and trust in me in the past few years. As I delivered my last policy address in October last year for 2021, in my concluding remarks, I said that in less than 2 years into my CEO term, because of the anti-extradition bill and because of interference from foreign forces and also the attack of the COVID-19, I was under great pressure. However, the motivation for me to press on was the very staunch support behind me by the central authorities. In the 5th wave of outbreak, we can see the central authorities' support for Hong Kong. And continuously, the central authorities have been giving support to the Hong Kong SAR. I'd like to thank the State Council and also the 4 mainland organizations in Hong Kong in the past 5 years. They have worked in concert with me, and of course they are the Chinese Liaison Office in Hong Kong, the Foreign Ministry Office in Hong Kong, the PLC Garrison in Hong Kong, and also the National Security Office in Hong Kong. I'd like to thank different provinces and municipalities for the support to Hong Kong SAR in the past few years so that we could deepen our cooperation with the mainland on various fronts. I'd like to thank my team, including the secretaries of bureau and also the principal officials and also the full support of the civil service and their diligence. They have been very dedicated and persistence in helping us to overcome very difficulties. I'd like to thank the CE's office and also the government house for taking care of myself and my family. I'd like to thank all non-official members of the Chief Executive, legislators, and also the judiciary. I think we have all been dedicated to our own duties to implement one country, two systems. Of course, I have to thank my family for their support and also their silent support for me in the past few years. In the coming less than 3 months, I'll continue to lead the SAR governing team to do the following 4 things. First, and that is to ensure the smooth operation of the CE election to be held on the 8th of May. This is the 3rd important election since the improved electoral system in Hong Kong. The relevant work has been done according to our deferred timetable, and that is the start of the nomination period on the 3rd of April, 2 days ago, and then we have to follow the schedule until the election on the 8th of May. The preparation work for the CE election, well, we have been carrying out the internal work, including an office for the CE designate, and also I'm sure things will be already by the end of April. And the second thing is, of course, to stabilize our fifth outbreak so that our community can go back to normal track as soon as possible. And we must guard against another outbreak, which will deal another blow to our social and economic development. The third is to make preparation for the celebration activities for the 25th anniversary of the reunification of the motherland. This is the 25th anniversary, and we have planned a number of activities with easing of the epidemic. We will start the preparation work, and then I must ensure interface with the next term. Now, I have proposed a reorganization of government structure with the support of the next CE, well, all work related to securing support from the legislature and financial committee, and we will continue to make preparation for the next government. All in all, I'll continue to lead our governing team to do all the works I just outlined and also other duties. And I wish the next CE and his governing team every success to lead Hong Kong to scale new height. Questions? Question time? Now, if you'd like to ask questions, please raise your hand and also identify the organization represent and use our microphone. The lady at the back. Good morning, Mrs. Lam. I'm from TVB. Yesterday, we asked about your intention. You said that the time was not yet appropriate. After 24 hours, you've made this announcement. What has happened in between? Well, you said that last year already indicated your intention not to run again. What was the reason behind that? Is it because of your pressure or your own intention or family's wish? And what about your future? You would like to spend more time with your family? To inform the chief, the non-official members of the Executive Council, which have been my most senior advisors in the past 5 years. Yes, I made clear my intention to the central authorities early last year. And actually, in March 21, when I attended the NPC meetings, for the 2 sessions, I relate my intention to them. And the only consideration behind my decision is my family. As I've always said, my family takes precedence of everything, and they all think that it's time for me to return to family, and this is my sole consideration. Third, the fight against the epidemic is still the most important task. We have a lot of work to do in the coming 3 months, so I haven't decided what I should do after I finished my term. Thank you. Next, the lady in the back row on the right. Good morning. I'm from Now TV. Mrs. Lam. So you made known your wish to the central authorities. Did they of the will be the chief convener? Is that true? Well, as I said, the central authorities expressed understanding and respect for my decision. As regards my communication with the central authorities and not respect, please understand that I will not relay them to you. As regards how you interpret my response to the media, that is beyond my control. Well, my wish or my consideration is purely because of my family, which is the most important part of my life. As of now, I have not received any resignation from any official, and it's not convenient for me to confirm or comment on prospective candidates or people who are going to receive appointment from the central authorities.
Next question. On my right, at the back, the male journalist.
China Morning Post. So what made you not to decide to run for the election? Does Beijing, how do Beijing and you yourself evaluate your performance so far? And how do you think about John Lee running for as being the next CE? Thank you.
This is not a question of evaluating my performance or the performance of the Hong Kong SAR government in this term. This is a question of my personal wish and aspiration. And my personal wish and aspiration is entirely based on my family consideration. This is what I have told the Central People's Government, and they have expressed understanding. So I am taking this earliest opportunity to inform the public through the media that I will not contest in the coming chief executive election. I cannot comment on any prospective candidate in the coming chief executive election. Thank you.
The next question, please. On my left, on the front, the male journalist. Mrs. Lam, I'm from Phoenix TV. Now you announced that you are not and so on. Now you said that you are not seeking re-election. Do you think that it's a pity that you proposed these plans? And do you think it's a pity that you will not be able to follow up on your own suggestions and proposed projects? Do your family members strongly object to you standing for election again? Like I said, I'm not seeking re-election mainly because I considered my family's wishes. Well, my family members have certain thinking, but I'm not at liberty to disclose this. This is something personal. But what I can say is that for a long period in the past, the family members have been supporting me all along. It's not just about me being the chief executive. This is the third time that I'm taking on such political appointment positions. So to a certain extent, it has impact on my family. Now, policies in the government do get continued. Even if there is a different chief executive or different bureau director, my understanding is that the policies will continue, especially if the policies have garnered wide support within the community. You cited 3 examples. I believe that these projects have good public support, and they will be implemented by the next term of government. Now, as for the government reorganization, well, last October, I proposed a government restructuring plan. It was discussed in the community and at the relevant panel at the LegCo. We didn't hear any opposition view. Say, for example, we'd like to establish a culture bureau and also a separate housing bureau to handle housing matters. So we'll see whether the CE designate will endorse these proposals. And if yes, we still have to go through a lot of procedures. And 2 new bureaus will be established, and personnel matters have to be involved. Extra funding is needed. The new bureau directors and the office will involve some funding allocation. And then for some bureaus, their work portfolios have been changed, and their name will be changed. So legally speaking, changes have to be done. Now, from the 8th of May to the 30th of June. Well, the time is very tight. Now, if we can complete the work, then we'll be seeing a new government on July, which has a government and a restructure which is being endorsed by the community. And so the work doesn't need to be left to the next term of government. So the chief executive designate will identify the right candidates for these new posts. And if he endorses my proposal, then he will proceed with the relevant work accordingly. Now, another proposal that the current government makes is the Northern Metropolis, which is also widely supported within the community. It will play a crucial role in the GBA. And I don't see any reason why the next term of government will give up the plan. Now, the Lantau tomorrow was floated even earlier. Well, it was met with a lot of opposition earlier in the LegCo, and the funding has been delayed. But the project is now on the right track, and detailed investigation is being conducted. Well, the community at large recognizes that housing is a major problem to be tackled, and the key lies in whether we have sufficient land supply. This is all in the best interest of Hong Kong, and I don't see why that will not be continued. So I hope that the next term of government can proceed with the work started by the current term of government to resolve all the problems in Hong Kong. Compared to this term of government, the next term of government will be seeing a more stable political environment. We have implemented the national security legislation, and we have improved the electoral system. The new term of LegCo was on board this year, and so the chief executive will work closely with the LegCo to proceed with the various works. Well, the male journalist in the front, please. Mrs. Lam, I'm from Hong Kong 01. Since you were on board, you have been seeing Like I said, the press briefing today is not for me to share my experience and feelings as a chief executive. I hope that there will be some other occasions for me to do that in the future. Each term of government has its own difficulties. Now, objectively speaking, over the past 4 years or so, we have met with more challenges than before. In the past few years, Hong Kong has experienced unprecedented challenges. So the gravest challenges since the reunification, I think this is agreed by all in the community. Like I said, I will not comment on the possible candidates. I believe that those who are interested would like to continue serving Hong Kong. Now, if you are talking about attributes, the right attributes, Hong Kong is an inalienable part of the PRC, and under one country, two principles system, we enjoy a high degree of autonomy. So for every term of chief executive, the most important attribute is to play his or her role properly, shouldering the dual responsibilities. He has to be accountable to Hong Kong and at the same time to the PRC government. He or she should be guarding the special characteristics of Hong Kong, i.e. Hong Kong people administering Hong Kong, high degree of autonomy, and so on. So I think in the past 2 years, the whole government has worked concertedly to fight the epidemic. And I don't believe that people will be slackening in their efforts after my announcement today. I don't think you have further questions on fighting the epidemic, so the press conference comes to an end today. We'll see you again on Wednesday.